Welcome to the meeting place. I'm your host, Michelle O'Neill, and resident emotional wellness coach. And today's session is about casting light on how we may be neglecting self compassion and about introducing simple yet insightful actions that we can incorporate into our daily lives. So, welcome this morning. I am so glad that you are here bright and early. So, that's why it's a good thing that you're here bright and early. It's about starting our day with the promise of kindness to ourselves. So let's shed a light on, uh, you know, what this really looks like and what this is. So talking about shedding, let's shed that weight, the weight of self-neglect, and start on a path to actually reclaiming the self-care and understanding that we rightfully deserve. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So in the world of caregiving, and I want to thank you for being here this morning. Let me make sure everything is set up correctly before I just dive right in. But I like to just get to, what do they say, cut to the chase. So in the world of caregiving, we often fall into what I call, those hidden traps, those subtle yet profound things that impact our lives, and we criticize ourselves ruthlessly. How many of you, can you raise your hand? How many of you criticize yourself? Always telling yourself what you didn't do right, right? We prioritize everyone else's needs above our own, right? And we wear our badge of exhaustion, like a badge of honor. Oh, I'm so tired, but why am I so tired? Because of all I've done for you and everyone around me. I'm really working hard for everyone. So we wear it like a badge, this badge of honor, right? So these are not just habits that we have, they're barriers to our well being. They keep us from moving or changing our limitation or moving above where we are right now. Because, hey, if you're wearing a badge of honor, if you're thinking that you're serving everyone and you're giving all your best, why would you change that, right? So today, I want to ask you to pause, just stop for a minute. You can do it. And actually just think about this. Have you been your own hardest critic? Would you talk to your friends or someone else the way, or think about them or what they do the way you think about what you do? I didn't do enough. That wasn't good enough. I should have. I could have. Or how about this? Have you forgotten the simple joy of just tending to your own need, taking a moment to do something for yourself? Because I'm too busy. I don't have time. This has to get done, right? So let's recognize these signs together, right? Not with judgment, but with compassion, as well as we would show our girlfriend, our best friend. If she was telling you all this stuff she was doing and how she never has time, what would you say to her? It's okay to have conversations with ourselves. Girl, I do it all the time. So, look, think about these mornings when you actually skip your breakfast, right? This is self-neglect disguised as routine. You skip your breakfast because you're making sure that you've taken care of your caregiving duties, that everything is set so that when you go to work, you don't have to worry about it as much, or that everybody has been fed, right? Or everybody is up and ready to go out that door. And so, in the midst of all this, you don't eat, or your food gets cold and it's no longer appealing, right? So, you don't want it. And what we do is we rush around taking care of all this stuff, and we've become labeled as unimportant. Even though you don't say that, that's what your actions are saying. Hey, I'm not important enough to stop and take care of myself. Everybody else is so important, and it's a common oversight. Yet, it actually speaks volumes about how we prioritize our well-being versus our responsibilities. We grow up thinking that we have to take care of our responsibilities. We need to be a responsible person. Well, guess what? You are one of your own responsibilities, and you have to take care of yourself. What about the inner critic, the self criticism over self encouragement? When's the last time you encouraged yourself? Was it today, this morning? What about yesterday? How often do we start our day berating ourselves for not being enough, not doing enough, not being ready, not getting enough rest? That word enough keeps popping up in our lives. What is enough? This internal critique that can be so automatic. We don't even think about it, that we don't even notice that it's there. And it shapes our day with that little tint of unworthiness. Hey, I'm not enough. To take a moment and breathe. How about sacrificing your personal rituals? What about those small rituals that actually bring you joy? And I love to say in the morning, but maybe it's a morning stretch, it's a favorite, listening to one of your favorite podcasts to get you going in the morning, like mine, The Caring Corner, or simply just standing there in the window while everybody else is still asleep with your cup of tea or coffee and watching the sunrise. Now that's worth getting up for, right? But do you have these rituals? Or when's the last time that you did it? We find ourselves neglecting these because we believe that there's no time. We just don't have time. And this creates a gap in our self compassion practice. And this gap becomes a chasm, it becomes larger and larger. And it becomes to the point that it's hard to cross over. So I'm asking you right now to stop. We ignore the signs of physical or emotional exhaustion and continue to push ourselves without taking the necessary breaks that we need or the necessary rest. And who does that serve? Do you know? So what are some pathways to self-compassion that we can practice? Because I'm not going to leave you this morning with ways that we can practice self compassion. I've painted this picture, but what I'd like to do is repaint it and brighten it up and give you something to think about. We can break free from these cycles by just beginning with small intentional acts of kindness towards ourselves. I saw something the other day, actually scrolling on social media, and it said the next time someone berates you or is critical of you, do something kind for yourself. Think about it. How many times when you see someone mistreating or doing something to someone else that you just want to reach out and give them a little love, a little kindness? I'm telling you, I'm asking you to do that to yourself. Imagine weaving a moment of joy and care into your daily routine, allowing yourself a few moments, just a few moments of laughter over something like a comic strip. One of my habits was I used to, with my daughter, read Archie comics books. Those little comic books with the Archie family and Riverdale, because they would take me away and just make me smile for a few moments, or simply just pausing to breathe and feel the sun's warmth on your skin. If you get an opportunity to walk outside and do that, great. But if you don't, just stand in a window wherever you are, at the office, at your home, sitting in your car, and just be present for a few moments. Look, these moments matter. I mean, they are big. They're the building blocks of a foundation of which self-compassion can actually flourish. And when self-compassion flourishes in your life, you flourish, you grow, you bloom. What's one small act of kindness that you can offer yourself today? Share it with me. Share it with all of us, and let this be your first step on a transformative journey. Go ahead and put it in the comments below. And let me tell you, I will be looking for it, right? So, in fact, I would like to give you three. I'm going to give you three before I leave that you can start weaving into your day starting right now, this morning. And the first one I want to talk about is intentional nourishment with a bit of creativity, creative cooking. Reclaim your morning by setting intention to actually nourish your body and prepare a simple, healthy breakfast. And it doesn't have to be the first thing in the morning. One thing I love about my sister in law is that she prepares ahead of time. Sunday evening, she takes those canning jars, and she prepares a breakfast for herself for the whole week. She takes 5 of those jars and she fixes what you call overnight oatmeal. And in each one, she intentionally creates, the oatmeal foundation, and then she'll put a little treat in there for herself, whether it be blueberries in one, bananas in another, cinnamon and raisins in the other one. But each day when she wakes up and she gets her breakfast, she has a little treat, and she's treating herself with her prepared breakfast. What about doing that for yourself? Or just drink a glass of water. There are so many of my friends that I'm always hearing, and my family, that they're dehydrated because they haven't taken the time to drink some water during the day. How about just taking a moment and drinking a full 16 ounces, not 8 ounces, 16 ounces of water before you go out that door, and acknowledge it as an act of self-care for yourself? Or how about, let me think, how about not only the water, but turning meal preparation into a creative outlet? These tones that I was talking about, these small steps that I was talking about, if you realize they actually set the tone of compassion for yourself for that day. When I was talking about my sister-in-law preparing for her morning and her whole week to make sure that she is taking care of herself. But we can do things like turning that meal prep into a creative outlet, experimenting with new or simple recipes or new flavors. One of the things I love doing now is, I understand how important it is to have certain carbs, and I choose the ones that I do. And so sweet potato is one of my staples. And so now, instead of just rubbing it with olive oil and putting the whole sweet potato in the oven, what I do is I cut it in half. And I still rub it with olive oil, but I also sprinkle it with a little bit of salt and then a little cinnamon. But the different thing that I do now, and I've discovered from another friend, is rosemary. And so I put a little bit of rosemary on each side, turn it over, and let it caramelize in the oven. And mm, the flavor, the taste. But doing these things makes cooking more enjoyable, and it transforms it into an activity that's just for you or your family. And it's offering a sense of accomplishment outside of your caregiving duties. And not only that, it gives you that feeling of creativity, of taking care of yourself, right? How about a virtual window swap? And I know you're like, what in the world is that? It's exploring the world from your home through websites or apps that allow you to view scenes from someone else's window across the world, across the globe. And it's a quick, fun way but you can get lost in it, right? But it's a quick, fun way to remind yourself of the beautiful world out there, and it inspires dreams and curiosity for yourself. There are sites like window-swap.com, or go ahead on Instagram and do a at window swap and look at those amazing pictures of someone sitting in their window. Even do it for yourself. Go to different windows in your house and take a picture of you looking out from your window and share those on Window Swap. I'm telling you, it's fun and it's invigorating and it's something different. And then finally, I want to talk about those sacred moments, those sacred morning moments, things like a tea ritual. And there is really such a thing as a tea ritual. This is something that I learned in Japan, but I'm not talking about the the big tea ritual of being in of doing something like they do in Japan. I'm talking about turning your tea or your coffee preparation into a ritual. Focus on each step of it, from boiling the water to pouring it into your cup. But I want to caution you, don't sit there and wait for that kettle to boil. You know, they say a watched kettle never boils. I can't talk this morning, right? But I want you to focus on each step. You know, the boiling it, setting the kettle, filling the kettle with water, putting it on the stove. If you have a stove, the click, click, click of the flame starting, the sounds. You're going into the cabinet, getting your cup, choosing what makes you feel good today, which cup, which verse, or which saying that you're gonna grab onto today, putting it on the counter, getting whatever else you're choosing the tea. You see how I'm going through this? This is what I want you to do. And then once you get the tea, putting that in the bag, pouring the water into the cup, watching the tea bag as it floats. Let this process be a meditative practice that centers you, that offers you a quiet moment of reflection and calm. Do you understand, or do you realize that taking this moment, doing these activities, being totally present creates calmness and centers you? I want you to identify one of these rituals that actually brings you joy, or one that you're already doing, and declare it as non-negotiable. Uh-uh. No way, no how. You're not going to stop me from doing that, right? This act of self-preservation is a powerful statement of self-worth and compassion for yourself. Look, the journey of self-compassion isn't a solitary one. It's a path that we walk together in this community where we support and understand and flow freely, where we share things that we've learned to do that work for us and that could work for someone else. I want you to embrace the challenge to see yourself with kinder eyes and recognize your worth and allow yourself the grace of imperfection. This is how we survive and flourish, transforming our caregiving journey, our lives, into one of profound personal growth and fulfillment. Phew. As we wrap up today's episode of The Meeting Place, I encourage you to carry these reflections and actions into your day and onward. Cultivating self compassion is a journey. It isn't something that always works overnight, and it takes time. It's one that begins new every morning. Remember, you can fill your day with kindness, starting with how you treat yourself. You're the first one to give that act of kindness to in the day. Share your commitment to self compassion in the comments below with us. and as a declaration to what you have done for yourself today. Let's inspire each other. And thank you. Thank you for joining me this beautiful morning. Thank you for allowing me to be kind to myself and share that kindness with you. Here's to a day lived with gentleness and self kindness. See you next time at the meeting place, right here in the morning, where every day is a new beginning. Take care. Bye bye.